Hello and welcome to Beginner Inversions Dolphin Pose Yoga Flow. My name is Adriana with NeoraFit, and today I'll be taking you through a pretty beginner-friendly yoga practice moving into Dolphin Pose, which is an inversion. For today's practice, you won't need any props, but if your knees tend to get sensitive, feel free to grab a blanket just in case for a little bit of extra padding. Other than that, put on some music, grab some water, and we'll get started right away. We'll begin today's practice in a tabletop position. So make your way onto hands and knees with your hands right under your shoulders, knees right under your hips. We'll move into cat-cow. So as you inhale, drop your belly towards the mat, reach your heart forward and gaze up. And as you exhale, round out your spine, press into your palms and the tops of your feet. 2 more. Inhale, drop your belly, chest forward, look up. Exhale, round out your spine. And 1 more here. Inhale, drop your belly, squeeze the shoulder blades together and down your back. Then exhale, round out your spine, pull your navel to spine, push into hands and feet. Then make your way back into a neutral tabletop and walk your hands forward as though you were going into puppy pose. For this, you'll keep your hips right over your knees rather than letting them drop back towards your heels. On your inhale, lower your chest down towards the ground. And on your exhale, push into your palms. Use your shoulders and core to lift your chest back away from the ground. We'll do that 3 more times. Inhale, let your chest sink down. Find a big heart opener, big shoulder stretch. And exhale, press into your palms to lift back up. Good. Inhale, drop your chest down. Find that moment of stretch. And exhale, press into your palms to lift. We'll do this 1 more time, but this last one will hold. So inhale, drop your chest down towards the ground. Maybe even let your forehead rest on the mat or your chin rest on the mat. And take a deep breath into your shoulders. Exhale, press into your feet, engage your core, lift your belly away from the mat. And 1 more breath here. Inhale. And on your exhale, strong push through your hands and your shoulders. Lift your chest back up. Now from here, lower your elbows down to the ground and slide your elbows back so they're right under your shoulders for another round of cat-cow, but this time on forearms. Inhale, drop your belly towards the mat, chest forward, squeeze the shoulder blades. And exhale, round out your spine, rounding through your upper back. 2 more. Inhale, drop your belly, chest forward, gaze up, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, press into your palms, round your spine, push into the tops of your feet. Inhale, drop your belly 1 last time. And exhale, round. And from here, walk your hands back under your shoulders and we'll make our way into downward facing dog. So to get to down dog, walk your feet back to plank first, then bend your knees a little, send your hips up and back. And once your shoulders are in a strong position, so shoulders wrapped, squeeze your elbows toward each other and press your palms into the ground. Then if you'd like, maybe straighten your legs, as long as that doesn't make your spine round. If it does, keep your knees bent so you can focus on a straight spine. Reach your heels towards the ground, getting a little bit deeper into a hamstring and calf stretch. Then from here, take a big step forward with your right foot. If it didn't land all the way between your hands, use your right hand to slide your foot forward. Then stay high on your left toes and come up into a crescent lunge. So hips are facing forward for this. And we'll move into a tricep stretch. So reach your right arm up, pat yourself on the back, then use your left hand to guide your right elbow back. Notice if right away your ribs want to flare open, instead squeeze your ribs together a little so your core stays engaged. Press into your left toes to straighten your left leg and squeeze your left glute a little. Deep breath into your heart. Exhale, try to shorten the space between your bottom ribs and your hip bones. 1 more breath here. Inhale. Exhale, engage your core. Now release your hands down to the ground, lower your left knee to the mat, uncurl your back toes, and straighten your front leg into a half split. You might need to slide your right heel forward a bit. You can either keep your hands under your shoulders, lower to fists if your wrists are feeling sensitive today, or lower flat palms all the way to the ground, as long as you can keep a straight spine here. Inhale, reach your heart towards your toes. And exhale, maybe deepen your fold if you have more space to give. We'll stay here for 2 more breaths. As you exhale, press down into your right heel so you start to feel the back of your hamstring or the back of your leg engage. At the same time, as you push down into your heel, energetically pull your right thigh bone back in space. And from here, bend your right knee, lower your hands to the mat, slide your right knee back, and lower back down onto your forearms. This time we'll come into a forearm plank. So grab onto your biceps. That's the distance apart that you want your elbows. Then lower your hands down to the ground and walk your feet back into plank. Dome out your shoulders, so you're really pushing the earth away. Engage through your core and engage your inner leg lines so your heels aren't falling out to the sides. One more breath here. Down dog. Release your knees to the ground, hands under shoulders, and then lift your hips up and back. Other side. Step your left foot between your hands, come up into crescent lunge. So stay high on the back toes and rise up. Then this time reach your left arm up, pat yourself on the back, grab onto your left elbow using your right hand and pull the elbow back in space. Inhale into your chest. Exhale, shorten the distance between your bottom ribs and your hip bones. Inhale into your hips. Exhale, press into your right toes. Lift your heel as high as you can and squeeze your right glute for a little extra support. One more breath. And then half split. Lower your hands down to the mat. Set your right knee down gently, uncurl your toes, and straighten your left leg, maybe sliding the heel forward a bit if you need. Inhale, reach your heart towards your toes. And exhale, fold forward. You can flatten your palms to the mat if you have the space, or come up onto fists if that would feel better in your wrists. Inhale, chest moves forward. Exhale, push your left heel into the ground and energetically pull it back in space so you feel the back of your leg engage. One more breath here. Now bend your left knee, lower your hands to the ground, slide your left knee back, and lower back down onto your forearms. Grab your biceps, and then clasp your hands together. Press firmly through your forearms, lift your knees up, and this time, find an upside down V shape. So we're coming into dolphin with hands clasped, which is a little bit gentler on your shoulders. You may need to keep your knees really bent for this. That's totally okay. But if you have the space, maybe walk your feet in a tiny bit closer. Continue to press down through the sides of your forearms like you're trying to lift your head as high away from the ground as you can. One more inhale. Then exhale, release your knees to the mat, hands under shoulders, and return to down dog. Lift your hips up and back. From down dog, we're coming into warrior two. So big step forward with your right foot, bend your right knee, and then bring your elbows in by your sides. You're gonna grab your right elbow with your left hand to encourage it to stay in this space. I like sometimes to bring my fingers to the inside of the elbow so I remember to squeeze in. Now bird wings. Rotate your right forearm out to the side without letting your elbow leave your ribs. Inhale, relax back to center. Exhale, squeeze your elbow in as you rotate out. Two more like that. Inhale, center. Exhale, squeeze and open. One more. Inhale, center. Exhale, squeeze and open. Now, lower your left knee down to the ground into a low lunge. Let your hips come forward. Reach your right arm up. Pat yourself on the back. And this time, internally rotate your left shoulder and reach your left fingertips up towards your right hand. You could grab onto pieces of your clothing, a yoga strap, or even fingertips if you have the availability. You can also just keep your palms open and reach your hands toward each other, which will actually help you find more mobility and more strength. Inhale, lift up your chest. Exhale, hinge your hips forward. Lift your right elbow up and reach your left elbow down. Inhale into your belly. Exhale, squeeze in through your core muscles, trying to hug your front ribs closed. Then lower your hands down to the ground, slide your right knee back, and we'll come back into a forearm plank. Lower your elbows to the ground, grab onto your biceps, and either keep your hands in a number 11 shape, or if you're working on strength, clasp your hands together. Walk your feet back into plank. Then from here, walk your feet in towards dolphin. We'll do that a couple of times. Walk your feet back to plank. Find your solid plank shape, push the earth away. Then walk your feet back in towards dolphin, continuing to push through your forearms to lift your head high. Walk your feet back to plank, and then back into dolphin. Last one, walk your feet back to plank, and walk your feet back in to dolphin. If you have a pretty advanced practice, push into your palms, lift your elbows, and come back into down dog. But if that seems really difficult for today, lower your knees to the ground first, walk your hands under your shoulders, and then lift your hips up and back into down dog. Take a breath here. Then exhale, big step forward with your left foot, come up into warrior two. Ground your right heel down and rise up with your left knee bent. Hug your left elbow in towards your frontal ribs and either use your right hand to encourage the elbow in or right hand on the inside of the elbow to remind you to squeeze. On your exhale, rotate your left forearm out into bird wings and inhale, relax it to center. Exhale, squeeze your elbow in like you're trying to squish your own fingers. Inhale, relax to center. 2 more. And last one. Then lower your right knee to the ground into a low lunge. Reach your left arm up, pat yourself on the back. Internally rotate the right shoulder and reach your right arm back, trying to reach your fingertips toward each other. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, let your hips come forward. Inhale into your belly. Exhale, squeeze in through your core. Maybe hip sink 1 more inch. 1 more breath here. Reach your elbows in opposite directions. And then lower your hands down to the ground. Awesome. Dolphin pose. Lower your elbows to the mat. Grab onto your biceps. Now this time we'll try with hands in a number 11 shape, unless you already know that you're going to do better with hands clasped. Then if that's the case, go for it. Lift your hips up and walk your feet into dolphin. Your knees might need to be really bent. Your heels might be lifted. That's okay. But strong push through your shoulders. Press your hands into the ground. Push your elbows into the ground. And energetically squeeze your elbows toward each other. It should feel like the muscles underneath your underarms are firing. These are called your serratus anterior. 1 more breath. And then release your knees down to the ground. Sit back onto your heels. Take a moment of rest before we get into our final dolphin. For this last dolphin, you have the option to lift up 1 leg, hold it there for a breath or 2, lower it, and then switch. Or you can just stay in dolphin for the 4 breaths. So when you're ready, lower your elbows down to the ground. Grab onto your biceps, measure the distance, and then lower either hands into number 11 or hands clasped down to the ground. Lift your hips up and back. Once more into dolphin. Energetically squeeze your elbows toward each other. Now you're either staying right here or lift your right leg up. Squeeze the right glute to help find a little bit more lift. Continue to push through your elbows to lift your head as high as you can from the ground, and then lower your right leg down and switch sides. Lift your left leg up. Squeeze your left glute for a little more support and keep pressing strongly through your shoulders. Squeeze your elbows in toward each other. And then lower your left foot down. And release your knees down and lay all the way down onto your belly for a prone chest opener. Slide your elbow out into a cactus shape or about a 90-degree angle. And rest your right ear down on the mat. Now bend your left knee and lift your left knee up. Tap your left toes behind you. You can stay right here, or if this is too intense, just keep your left knee on the mat in front of you instead, finding a gentler pec opener. Take a deep breath into your chest. And exhale, soften your shoulders, relax your jaw. And switch sides. Roll back onto your belly. Slide your left arm into a cactus shape. Left ear down on the mat. And then bend your right knee. Lift your right knee up and take your toes behind you. Now, if this is ever too intense on your neck, you can place your opposite hand underneath your ear or even a yoga block or a pillow underneath your ear just to get some of the weight out of your shoulder. Deep breath into your chest. And exhale, roll back onto your belly. And without thinking about it too much, flip over onto your back and we'll make our way into happy baby. So squeeze your knees into your chest, open your knees just wider than your rib cage, and stack your ankles right over your knees. You can maybe grab onto the outer edges of your feet. If reaching that feels a little bit too far, grab down towards the ankles, calves, or the backs of your thighs. Keep reaching your knees down towards the ground and squeezing in towards your ribs. So you're not crushing your ribs, you're just outside of the ribs, but not splayed out super far. I'll stay here for one more breath. You might choose to rock a little bit side to side if that would feel good. And then when you're ready, we'll release into our final Shavasana. Give yourself a little squeeze and then extend your legs straight out in front of you. Let your feet fall open. Let your arms open away from your body and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Relax your hips, relax your shoulders. Let your whole body melt into the ground below you. And deep breath into your belly. And as you exhale, make any little adjustments you might need. Maybe you tuck your shoulder blades under or tuck your tailbone under. Move in any way you need to get really comfortable so you can relax. And then allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. No need to change it. Watch your breath in your mind. Either focusing on the expansion of your belly and your chest with each breath, or the sensation of breath coming in and out through your nose. Trust that there's nothing else that you need to do just now, nowhere else that you need to be at this moment. So you can be in the moment, so you can rest. If you're able to stay here longer, pause the video now and stay in Shavasana for as long as you possibly can. Otherwise, begin to deepen your breath. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes and roll your head side to side, reawakening your spine. And take a huge inhale. Stretch your arms over your head, point your toes like you just woke up from a nap. And exhale, roll over onto one side, coming into fetal position. Use your arm as a pillow. And then gently press yourself all the way back up to a comfortable cross-legged seat. Place your hands together at heart center to seal in your practice. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. I hope that you feel strong and capable in your inversions and you continue to get stronger and more capable throughout your practice. My name again is Adriana Lee with NeoraFit, and I hope to see you on the mat again soon. Namaste.